Hi everyone, it's Karen and I'm back to share my first design team project for the month of September for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy, and I will leave links to her store in the description box below so you can go over and check out some of the supplies that I used in this project. And I also will leave links to the amazing design team that she has and that I am a part of, as they are creating beautiful things with items from her shop and are sure to inspire you. So what I created for my first project for September is a little folder. And these are really easy to make. What I started out with was 2 pieces of scrapbooking paper. This is, it's a graphic 45 and it's called Blossom. Beautiful papers. I just love the flowers in these, and it's a really nice paper, of course, graphic 45. And these are 8 by 8 size pages. And so the folder measures 8 wide, but I did cut it down because the what I used for the inside was a little bit smaller, so it measures about 6 1/4 high. And I used the brown sandwich bags that I've used before in other projects. I used those for this project for the inside, and I just cut them down to fit. And then you'll see I just sewed this edge together, and I sewed on the other side just as faux stitching so that there's stitching on both sides, and then they just get glued inside. So I'll show you the inside in a second, but let's start with the outside because this is where I used these gorgeous laces and the applique and this beautiful fringe trim and this gorgeous button, and these charms, all from Kim's shop. So everything you see on the front here is from Kim's shop, except for the little pink blings in this applique that I added and the pink seam binding that I used but she does have some seam bindings in her shop. She also has laces in her shop that are about this width, which is about 1/2 inch wide or so, and they work great for closures. On the edges of this folder, I use this beautiful pink ruffled trim that she has, or gathered trim that she has in the shop, and it is a vintage trim. It is got you can see the little flowers, and then there's like the little pink centers in the flowers, and it makes it's a lovely trim, and it reminds me of my childhood and dresses that my mom made for us when we were kids. And so I use that all the way around the whole folder to the back. I use the fringe at the top, and it's such a pretty fringe and has this beautiful satiny detailing in the top here. And then I used the 4-inch wide lace that I showed in my design team package. I used the full thing on the bottom, and I used it to attach the front and back pieces of this folder. So the 2 pieces meet at the bottom here, and of course they're held together too by the insides, but this lace goes all the way around, the 4 inches of it all the way around to the back, and I made a pocket on the back with it. And then I added this pretty trim at the top, and this is really pretty. And I also used this exact same trim to make this flower, and it turned out so pretty. The detailing of that particular trim, it has an edge on it, but I took the edge off so that you could see this pretty netting and the edges of the loops that then look like flower petals. So all that is gathered up. It's 1, 2, 3, 5 of these little swoops. So it's the same amount that's on the back. And then I just gathered it, and then I used one of her really super pretty wooden buttons that she has in the shop right now, and I just put some pink thread through that and stitched it on and added that to the upper corner. And then the bottom corner, I added a piece of the pink applique that was in my design team package, and I just used a piece of it, and then I added a little bit of bling in the middle of the flowers that are on there. And then the tie is the seam binding, and then I added the dream charm and the fairy or angel charm on there that was in my design team package. And these are quite substantial charms. They're very pretty, and they're very nice for this on the closure. And also they work functionally on this because when you pull it open, the charms prevent the tie from coming completely through. And in the back here, I just put a couple of the journal cards that are in this paper pack, this graphic 45, and I just put paper that's you can write on the backs of them. I did 2 eyelets for the closure, one in the front and one in the back, and then I just put this seam binding through. And as you can see, the little charms on the end, when I pull it completely open, they prevent it from pulling through. They sit right up at the front, and then I can put the string to the side, and this completely opens up. There we go. So there's all the bags that I talked about, and all you do is you glue just about a 1-inch wide glue path down the middle of the bag, and you glue it to the front. And then you do the same thing between these 2 bags, these 2 bags, these 2 bags, this 2, and then this one glues to the back. And then when you open it up, it just fan folds out. And I put enough bags in that it can completely open up and lay flat. I just like the idea of that. I thought it was really functional because you can really get your hands in there. These bags are a good size, and you can get your hand right in there to be able to reach in and get what you want. I did stitch the sides of the paper as well. As you can see, I stitched the sides on all of the brown bags, because the one end I had to close anyway, because of course I had opened it when I was fitting the bags to the width of the paper. So all these pockets contain goodies. This pocket contains pieces from the design team package and that were used in this project. There is a piece of the applique, a piece of the 4-inch wide lace, a piece of the fringe, and a piece of that pretty pink gathered lace, and one of the buttons, and that's all pinned together with a ball pin, which Kim has in her shop. The second one contains some pieces. These are pieces of the graphic 45 paper, and I kept the top on the one, so if you ever, I think it's a 2020 paper line, it might still be available. So if the person that owns this could have know what the paper line was called. I put in some bits and pieces in a little bag to add in if you were creating a little journal. There's just some beads and some acrylic pieces and a couple of the Paris cabochons. There's some of the charms that I used in this project, and also a couple of the scissors that I was given, and then another little card with just some little tiny scraps and some fibers and that you could use on your journaling cards, and a little bit of the seam binding. This pocket just has tiny bits of pieces of lace that have been in past design team projects that I wanted to include, that would allow you to have something to use if you were using this little kit to make yourself a journal. And in this one, I did a bunch of fussy cuts that are in the colors of the paper line. So pinks and burgundy pinks and blues. And I've done all that fussy cutting. There's several pieces in that little bag for your enjoyment. Plus you have the little bag as well to use in your project. And then this is a little item I created, and it's a piece of the cardstock, and I stitched 2 pieces of acetate on there, and then I included tags that I added little bits of lace from Kim's shop to them. And then these are some whale's tails that I created from the paper line. I fussy cut them out, and I included one in there because what I have is a couple of them that I use as a pattern in order to make the whale's tails. So I included one of those in there so that you could make more if you wanted. And then I included stamps that came in the paper line in the top pocket. So you have some more things to create with, and this little card would also fit quite nicely. It is 4 inches wide, and so it would fit quite nicely inside the journal if you wanted to empty it out, and then you could use it for other things. And I just put a few beads and a little bird charm on the side of it just to pretty it up. And then in the final pocket is a bunch of pieces of from the line, and then some pieces that I've added of ephemera using the paper. So part of the paper line, they have these strips that are in there. And so what I did is I cut them all apart and I added tape to the back. So you just peel off that strip and that could be cut or placed in a journal to decorate a journal. With using that paper line, I made a couple, cut out a couple of the dress forms pattern that I have, and I included those. And this is a good heavy weight of scrapbooking paper, so these are really pretty, and I have a tutorial as well on my channel where I make some ephemera, and I have used this particular dress form pattern and created some little pieces that can go in your journal. That's another little piece with the words on it, and this one I put foam on the back so it can sit up on your page. And then I just created a few, like this is a journal card with a journal card as a tuck spot, and then a little tag in there, or journal card. And I just added some beads and some seam binding on there, and one of the little words, and it's on that foam backing so it sits up. And a little piece of Kim's lace from her, that pink lace as a topper on that one. And then this one is another inspirational little piece. It's a little journal card that I created out of the paper, and I put a belly band on there with some of Kim's lace and then a little bit of that green seam binding, and then I added a couple journaling cards in there. So that could be put inside a journal, and then you would glue on the sides and the bottom and this side, and it could also be a tuck spot as well. And then, oh, here's a couple more pieces of, here's one with the words on it. And behind each word, I have put a foam backing with it sticky, so those could be placed in a journal where you want to place them, or on a journaling card. And this again has the strip of two-way tape on the back. And then these are some of the journaling cards that are in the paper pack, and I cut them all out and I backed them with paper so that they're ready to be written on. And then I added in some of the tags that I have from my own. They're all from Michael's. These are tiny little tags. These are medium ones, and these are a bit larger. These ones have the strings on them from when I purchased them. The strings from these bigger ones, I somehow misplaced them, so I've added in some crinkle seam binding in those, and those again be something you could play with. So this whole pack is just ready for someone to play with and have some inspiration and be able to put together a little journal of their own. And then if you emptied it all out, you would have this cute little pouch that just closes up really nicely with this little tie, and is really, you could, because of the size of the bags, you could fill that up with other things. It's nice from the side. It's really pretty. And after I created it, of course, I thought, well, you know, if someone really wanted to purchase this, they probably would love to have a little journal started for them that they could use those pieces in. So I did the little journal to go with it. And so this little journal cover is, again, one of the fabric pieces that was in a previous design team package that Kim had given me. And they are fabric sample pieces, and they make the cutest little journals. Just grab my ruler here and tell you the size of this. It is 5 by 6. And I've added some of the beautiful lace that was in my design team package. I added that here on the front and the back. This is a little piece from my stash that I added as well. And then this is a piece from a previous design team package, but I still think she has this gorgeous lace in the shop. And I rolled that all the way over the edge of the book, and for the binding of the book, and to cut out the flowers on the back side. I slid a piece of the cardstock in just behind that because I thought it looked pretty and I liked it. And I made a little tassel out of some of the pieces of lace. When I cut off these solid pieces on the tops of the laces, I always save them because they can make really pretty tassels. This is the 4-inch lace, and I just took a piece and cut that up for part of the tassel. And then I added in some ribbons and some fibers of my own, and then I added in some little clay flowers in blue with the pink centers and white with pink centers. And I added some of those little clay flowers inside of there as well for you to use. If you were to purchase this, you would have those items to go along and add more to your journal. These, another one of the journaling cards from the Graphic 45 paper line, and then 2 of the little journaling cards. I didn't back these ones, so this is what they look like on the back. I put these more as decorative on the front of the journal. I used the little clay flowers in them and some fibers, and those just tuck in this little tuck spot here. You could write on the back of them with a dark pen, or you could put a little piece of paper on the back if you wanted to do some secret journaling on the back of those. Here's one of my little beaded butterflies that I added to the front because I thought it was a cute touch. I closed it with a piece of the green crinkle seam binding. It doesn't really need it right now, but if you were to build on this journal yourself and add some of the laces, trims, some of the journaling cards and things that are in the pack, then it's going to get fatter, and this way you would have a closure for it. This has a lovely texture to it with a bit of green. I left the zigzagging when it comes to me. It comes that way. These samples come cut with pinking shears, and I just love the look of it. I think it just adds more to the whole thing. The inside of this little journal is lined with a piece of the Graphic 45 cardstock. The whole inside is all lined with that, and I glued it down so that it's not going anywhere, and I left the zigzag at the top again. This is a piece of that 2-inch or 4-inch lace, sorry, and I cut it in half. It's a very versatile lace, actually. I don't even have a piece of the 4 inches of it left. I have this tiny little piece left. I think actually there's a 4-inch piece. There is inside of here. I gave you a piece of it because you can cut it down and it's really versatile. I created a little pocket here with it, and then I created a little tag that you can write on the back. I added some of the applique on it, and and one of my butterflies from one of my own fussy cuts, and I just added that in there with one of the little whale tail tabs on there. And then the journal is fairly plain. I added a few things for inspiration, but I wanted you to be able to take the laces and trims from the pouch and be able to create in this little journal. Just to go back to the tassel, it is like a bookmarker. It goes all the way through the book, and it comes out the bottom on a piece of ribbon, and I put the Paris cabochons on the bottom. And from the outside, when you're looking at this, I think it looks really pretty. It's got the pretty tassel and then that little cabochon hanging out the bottom. There's all types of digital papers in here, as well as pieces of the Graphic 45 paper. This is a little envelope that all folds together that I put in here. I thought you could tuck something in there if you wanted. So like I said, different digital papers that I have copied and placed in here. Added a few stickers. This is a piece of rice paper. These papers are all easy to write on. Some of these are as well. You could write in there. You could write over top of here. It's quite light. This one's a little more busy, but you could, with a paper clip, you could easily attach something onto here. You could add a picture on there, that kind of thing. This is a piece of the Graphic 45 paper line from the Blossom line, and I've just added a handmade little bookmark here and a little paper clip, a doily with some embellishment on it, another digital line that I added with a flip out on it here. So this is all writing space that's kind of hidden, more hidden writing space here, just with some butterflies here, just to add interest, texture. I left them raised a bit. And then another digital line I have, another one. Here's one of the little dress forms, and I've added some of the trim on here from Kim's shop, and a little bit of the applique, and a little one of those clay flowers. And you could actually can glue that onto the edge of here, and then it would be a more stable tuck spot, or you could just leave it clipped in like that with the paper clip, but it just gives you some inspiration on how to use those little dress form pieces. Here's the center. I used a really pretty digital paper that I really like and added that in the center of this book. And what I've done is I've made this, so this cover is reusable. So the pages are just tied in with a piece of this pink baker's twine, and all you have to do is undo this, and all of these pages could come out, or even one or two of them, and then you could add other pages in using these for sizing, so that you could reuse this cover if you wanted to. Or you could put all plain papers in here using these pages as an example, and have all completely plain pages inside this journal as well. So I think it makes it quite versatile. The pages do move a little bit because it's just tied in, but they are not falling out by any means. Little paper clip that I created with part of the Graphic 45 paper line, and one of the little words, and a little piece of lace from Kim's shop. Again, pages, digital pages that I have. Here I just folded this one over a little bit because it was a bit too wide rather than cutting it off. So you could still journal across here and then just fold it back. You could glue it down if you wanted to make it a permanent pocket. And then I just added this little journaling card in here with some of, again, more of the paper line for tags, and it's ready to, actually this one is not finished on the back. It has the paper line on the back too. So this one could be glued down somewhere in the journal as a tuck spot. This is an envelope that I covered with the Graphic 45 paper, left the window so that you could see the butterflies through, added a little fussy cut piece. This is an example of some of the fussy cuts that I did include in this folder. And then this is the little card that pulls out that has the butterflies on it, and it slides into place there. And you can see the little butterflies through the window. And then I made a little tuck spot with some lace from Kim's shop and another fussy cut. And then this is part of the Graphic 45 paper line. And then one of the cards. This one has beautiful irises on it, and I just put peace on that one. And then I created a pocket here, a double pocket here. First pocket is with the Graphic 45 paper, and this is with that gorgeous lace again, the 4-inch one that I cut. This is using half of it. And then I added a little tag in there with some of Kim's lace on the bottom, and then a little bookmark with, again, using a piece of that gathered. I just took the gathering off and cut out the little flower and used that. And then this is a multi-page. It does all kinds of things. This is a flip, so you could journal underneath here. You can also journal on, I did try it with a ballpoint pen, and you can write on the rice paper as well. I think probably with a felt pen it would bleed, but with just a regular ballpoint pen it's fine. This pocket actually goes right over the page. This is the back side of it, and it's just pieced together some of the smaller pieces I had left of the paper, and I put a piece of Kim's lace over the top, and then I added this little booklet in here, and it has several pages to it, all of pretty patterned paper. You can flip it over and you can write on the backs of all of them, or you could write on the front as well. Another digital page that'd be easy to write on. This is another digital page with a tea staining on it, rice paper. These are the back sides of the other line. They're all sort of florals that went together, and then another tea stained one. So all easy to write on, but also lots of space for you to add your own embellishments and things from the actual pouch if you wanted to embellish and make this more your own. Or you, and then another little multi-tag that I made with an acetate pocket sewn on the front and a couple of little tags inside that I just tucked in the back here that you could use anywhere. Or you could even, this is even a really cute thing, you could put a little message on the back with a piece of paper, and then you could tuck a little gift card in here, and it makes a nice little gift to give to someone. You could take the little journaling cards out and use them somewhere else. So it's a sweet little journal that has lots of potential to get a lot fatter if you want to add all kinds of things to it, which I have, you know, I've added. There's laces in there. You could add more lace to the edges of the pages. You could add more tags and more tuck spots, and just create it into more of what you would like to do. And so get inspiration from some of the pieces that I've put in there that are already made up, so that you get some ideas of things that you could add to it. Or you could take and make a completely new journal with new pages and just use this cover. So you do have some options if this is something that you think you would like to have there, or you would like to give it as a gift to somebody. There is my design team project, my first one for September. I'm almost finished my second one. I kind of like to work on a couple different projects at the same time. This turned out to be 3 different projects at the same time, 2 for this one and working on my next one, but it's been fun and I've really enjoyed working with her beautiful laces and trims. Kim has so many things in her shop that are really inspirational, and I hope you enjoyed seeing what I created. And don't forget to go and check out the shop. Link will be below in the description box. Links to the other designers below in the description box. Go over and see. They've already posted, a lot of them, their first design team projects for September, and also their design team packages. And they've got some beautiful things they're working with as well. So I hope you guys are all have had a great week, and I hope you have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you all soon. Bye for now.